Hi guys! So I thought I will show you how you can make your backgrounds in your coloring books or even in your drawings much stronger and much intensive if you are using for example hard pastels or even soft pastels. Because in a lot of cases these pastels do not work in coloring books or even or cardstock or some other paper because they are actually meant to be used on other type of paper which is made for soft pastels. So that's why a lot of people are having problems of getting that nice saturation, but I think this could be of some help. So what I did here, I used, in this case, this is a watercolor paper and I used hard pastels. I've just put one layer down and I've smudged the colors with my fingers. Now I'm actually going to apply rubbing alcohol on the right side where I've put this layer. I will wait for it to dry and after that I'm going to put another more layer. The problem with the left side is that in most of the cases you are not able to put more layers because the paper just does not want to accept more layers. But if you use this alcohol technique, but you also do not have to use alcohol. You can also use water and I will talk about it a little bit more later. And if you look at the result here, after I smudge this again with my fingers, it will be so much better and more intensive than if you do not use any solvent at all. And I also did a couple of more tests. So I did this the same thing on a printer paper, watercolor paper, mittens, so the pastel paper, and I think on the cardstock. And I also colored the background in one of my coloring books. I tried this technique on different papers. So this comes actually from pastel paintings, let's say. Um, there you are actually putting a layer of hard pastel. It can also be a soft pastel, and then you are mixing that either with water or with rubbing alcohol. And the thing why you do that is so that you can get some coverage of the paper, and after that you're putting layers and layers of soft pastel. But here is something that I thought this could help a lot for the people who are actually using pastels in their coloring books or even something else. So you could use this to get a better, more intensive backgrounds, or not only backgrounds, also other things. So what I was using, because I was not able to find the rubbing alcohol of 90%, so I actually was using 70% isopropyl propyl alcohol. No idea how to say that. And actually it's a how to say it, disinfection alcohol. So I think now with the corona time all of us have some disinfection stuff at home. So the ones that have some like cream in them, you know, to make your hands more soft after that, those will probably not work so well because they have some oils or something inside. But the ones that are more, you know, more stronger on your hands, those those ones will work much better. So I tried this here and on different kind of papers just to show you that it can work. And here I have the printer paper, the worst kind of paper. But still, if you do not have anything else, it's also better to use the printer paper than not draw at all or paint. So this is the hard pastels. So in this case I was using only hard pastels. You can use also soft pastels. Here I have a layer, or actually maybe even two layers of hard pastels, and I just blended that with my fingers, and as you can see, the result is pretty bad. Then what I did the same thing on these two, but in this case I have put also alcohol on it. and in this here I've put water. The problem with the printer paper is that it's so thin, so it will buckle. It also buckled a little bit under alcohol, but of course under water I already saw some waves. But the thing is that when you look at this, I think everyone sees the difference between when you do not use anything and you only use your pastels, and what happens when you do use some solvent. Okay, so which next? Okay, I have here the cardstock, and this is the one that I was using also before, what I showed you, and this is without anything, this is with alcohol, and this is with water. So in some cases when you use water, the color is even much stronger than with the alcohol. So but still you can do that, and then you can put another layer on top and to mix all that nicely. And you can also put some lines on top, as you can see here. And again, the difference is huge. So then I was using the Mitens paper, and honestly this paper for the hard pastels, to use them on their own is like really bad. So they're, because the pastels are not, you cannot really smudge them. That's the problem of the hard pastels, and that really does not look good. But here I applied some alcohol, and here I applied a thin layer of water. So the paper did bend a little bit because it is a thin paper, but I was still able to get a nicer coverage than what I had here. And the one that I also tried is the watercolor paper. So this is how it looks when you have only the pastels down, like, yeah, not really good. This is when you put alcohol and then another layer on top of the pastels, and this is how it looks when you use water. Because this is watercolor paper, it's not a problem to use water, so the paper did not bend, and the result was much stronger than with alcohol. So I would really recommend, if you are using let's say real thinner papers, do not use water because you will probably ruin your paper, but try it with alcohol, and also try it first on another paper, not on your drawing. And if you have a watercolor paper or even cardstock paper, it could work with less water. Try the water because it gives you a little bit more intensive look. And what else can I show you? For example, but I do have to say that this coloring book, it has an amazing paper. I'm really astonished how thick the paper of this coloring book is, considering that the coloring book costed 99 cents. So I have no idea what they were using or what they are doing to produce this so cheap. But yeah, it's a 250 GSM, like that's a heavy paper. So I was using that here, and just to show you, the also without the solvent, the pastel grips more to the paper, because the paper is does not have a lot of structure, maybe just a little bit. But here I used alcohol, and I think you can see how much more intensive this part is, and especially here on the green side you still see some dots, and it just does not look right. And on this side you see much stronger colors. Yeah, so as I said, like for backgrounds or some parts where you are not going to do a lot of details, I think this is just perfect solution. Um, in this case, here I have new pastels. Those are the hard pastels. I did put here 2 layers of them without any solvent, and this is on the cardstock. But the new pastels are much softer than the Faber-Castell hard pastels that I have, so they really do feel softer. Either way, this is without any solvent, this is with water, and this is with alcohol. I think you can see. So without anything, I think you can see how nice and more vibrant the colors become afterwards. But you have to be careful. It is difficult to put in more than 2 layers. Again, we are talking about the pastels, and these papers are definitely not made for pastels, and the pastel artists are using different kind of papers, and they are working completely different. So keep that in mind. But still, I think this result is amazing. So okay, and here I had, so this is the Faber-Castell, the ones that I have, the polychromos, right? Yes, these are the polychromos, but the ones that I have are like 60 years old or even more. So it's like a really old antique set that I have, and they do feel really dry. And this is when I use Faber-Castell without anything, and it just does not look good. And this is after I've put a layer of alcohol and then again a layer of Faber-Castell hard pastel, so it looks much nicer. And here I unfortunately did not film it before, but here I have a layer of, I did a layer of soft pastel and then used alcohol, and then I got again a layer of soft pastel, and in either case it looks much better. So here is the example with the coloring book I was talking about before, and I do have to say this coloring book, the paper is really good. Actually, I think I already said that, but either way, this, if you can get your hands on this coloring book, buy it, please buy it. Well, so I will just let you watch this, so just that you can see that I did put 1 layer of hard pastels, and then I've put alcohol, and then another layer of hard pastels, and the result is different. And with the alcohol or even water, so if the paper is thick, you can use water, it looks much better. So again, thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful, at least a little bit. Try it out. Try it first on a separate paper, not directly on your drawing. I do not want you to destroy your drawing. So just try it out, see how it performs and works on that particular paper that you have. And I hope it helps. And see you next time. Bye.